What is happening, my good people? Greetings. How are you? How's it going? How's everybody doing out there? What is the latest and greatest? Hope everybody's doing well, feeling fantastic and excellent spirits here on another Wednesday, the final Wednesday live stream, June 24th, 2026. Glad you can hop on board. Join me for another Wednesday live stream sports party as we cover everything that's going on in the wonderful world of the toy department of life that I love to call sports. As always, share your thoughts in the chat room. I know my usual suspects. I see a couple of comments from my regulars. Please don't be shy. Feel free, whether you want to agree, disagree, debate, whatever it may be, share whatever it is that's on your mind in the chat room, and I'll be able to post it here on screen. And for those who are watching the replay, obviously, you're not able to banter back and forth live, but you can still leave a comment because I can follow up and be sure to answer any questions or either debate or go back and forth, whatever it is that you feel that you may or may not agree with when it comes to some of my opinions, my thoughts, etc. And that's quite all right. But if you are watching the replay and you want to leave a comment, please feel free to do so. All right, let's get right at it. As far as my usual suspects, bio, of course, greetings. And the Lakers signing Austin Reeves, which was big and pretty much a no-brainer. We know that the Lakers behind Luka Doncic, as well as Austin Reeves, have both of those guys in the fold moving forward. We know that LeBron is a big question mark. We would think at the end of the day, and it's not about him right now or at this very moment, considering the fact that draft day 1 is in the books and free agency is a week away. But with Reeves now a part of the Lakers for the next 4 years to go along with Luka, to me, that was an absolute must. And let's face it, it was a no-brainer. And Walker Kessler, which I thought I had to go back and check on that because I know we talked about that the other day there. Bio, I thought for whatever the reason, unless that was an offer sheet that was put forth by the Jazz. Yeah, that's what it was. Jazz Walker Kessler not close to a deal despite a $140 million offer. And listen, does he want to go off to greener pastures? Could be the Lakers. That we'll have to wait and see. But I thought Utah, and we understand that they made not necessarily a splash. It was a no-brainer with the draft, which I'll get to, Darren Peterson. But it'll be interesting to see whether or not the Lakers do get Kessler. Obviously, Kessler is a big man, 7'2", to go up against Wemby, especially in that conference. So we'll definitely have to wait and see what's going to happen with Kessler signing on a dotted line, whether that be at Utah or LA with the Lakers. And, of course, greetings, Bio. Greetings, Val. Yes, always a pleasure. Always good. IDK. Well, good morning in your neck of the woods. It's afternoon here in New York City, so I'll say good afternoon from where I'm sitting here. And let's see. Yeah, your Giants did win. They sure did. And Warriors did draft Axel Landenborg, which, of course, our guy J-Rod, a huge Michigan fan, as we all know. Cameron Carr, welcome to the Lakers. Yes, we'll go through the first round a little bit. Ray, I would have been more scared that he got on the Boston. I'm not worried about in Miami. Yes, I'm going to get to Giannis, of course. And for those who watched the live that I did yesterday, I'm not going to piggyback too much from that. Yeah, I got to get into little particulars, but it's actually a little bit deeper because really the purpose of that trade for the Miami Heat was one reason and one reason only. And I will get to that in a minute. Chilling in my queen-size bed. Way to go. Sounds good. Chaley, 718, happy Pride Month. Yes, absolutely. Without question. Durant Effects, in Jesus' name. Amen. I'm checking out your, what are you, sitting in, that is your steering wheel. All right, that's what that looks like there. Mr. Professor says hi, or Professor. Make sure I say that correctly. And my New York Knicks have 3 second-round picks, by the way. Yes, they do. They actually traded out. They got the first pick of the second round tonight. And what time is that? Is that 8 o'clock? I should know that. And yes, I will talk NBA draft in a minute. And obviously, please feel free to continue putting comments out there. I appreciate it. Even some of the new people or new names I see in the crowd. Shaley 718, Mr. Professor, Durant Effects, etc. Yes, hi DK. Hello one more time as we move it along here. All right, so let me get started. The Giannis trade, I understand it's more than 24 hours old. It's probably 36 at this point, as my cable's all screwed up here. All right, we all know the deal. No need to rehash the trade, who went where, who were the winners and losers. Yes, we could talk about that till we're blue in the face. Who got the better of the deal, the Bucks or the Heat? Of course, people in some factions are going to say the Heat did because they still have a guy who's a top 5 player when healthy. Is certainly made the Heat better today than they were 2 days ago. And who they traded away, let's face it, weren't any players that you're going to be wondering, oh, are they going to pan out? Are they going to be big-time players in the league? We know Tyler Herro's a very good shooter, good scorer, not a great scorer. Kyle Ware, yes, he's a body, has ability, but certainly hasn't proven himself on a consistent basis in the NBA. And, of course, I also forget that Bobby Portis is coming back with Giannis, and I'll get to that in a second. But as far as the Bucks, they got a bunch of picks, including the pick that they got yesterday, 13. And, again, I'll get to the draft in a minute. But on the surface, you're going to think that the Heat won this deal only because of who Giannis is, only because that he's going to make an impact now. You're already hearing that maybe Tyler Herro could be flipped for more picks or pieces down the road as they're in rebuild mode. So, yeah, on the surface, you're going to say Heat. You're not going to say the Bucks. You're not going to be thinking about the 2031 and 2033 picks. Who knows what the Heat will look like at that point? Giannis, he'll be what? 36, 37 years of age, and certainly on the other side of the mountain. So who knows? It could bode well to where the Heat may be one of those middling teams, maybe a team that does not get into the playing scenario and becomes a lottery team. And with the new lottery rules, I guess it's now not 14 teams, it's 16. So let's say if the Heat do have, let's say, the 15th worst record, and I get it, they got to get the ping pong balls to go their way, that maybe the Bucks could get a high pick. But that is half a decade and beyond. So, of course, you're going to think that the Heat got the better of this deal, 1,000%. But now here, to me, this is the bigger question. And I touched on this a little bit yesterday, but I had to sit on a little bit more. And, yeah, we talked about they have no depth, and we talked about who else they're going to sign and so on and so forth. But are the Heat really contenders in the East? Now, I'm going to say the East. I'm not going to say for a championship. But here's the thing. If you're Giannis, the only reason why you went to Miami is to get into a better situation for you to win a championship. It wasn't to go elsewhere because you were sick of the Bucks. It wasn't to go to a team that has promise or could make a run. No, you went to a place, or you had your eyes designed to go to a place where they were going to be ready to compete for a championship. And I get it. We still have free agency period. We still have the offseason that hasn't even begun yet. And even though we've seen some minor deals go on, Julius Randle, and yeah, I can touch on that later on. But come on. This Heat team is comprised of Bam Adebayo, who is a solid NBA player, very good player, not great. Yes, has made all-star teams, but isn't a guy, and he has made all-NBA teams. I got to give him credit. But he's not a guy that's going to really impact unless it's a situation where he's going to be doing all the dirty work, which has been primarily his career, where he's going to get the offensive rebound, where he's going to get putbacks, alley-oops, etc., and big-time rebounding. Then you have Andrew Wiggins, former number 1 overall, as we know, dating back to his days with the Cavs. But he's a guy that, very good defensive player, good player, not great. And yes, I understand that he's become more of a glue guy than a number 1 overall pick when you think about the ilk of a guy who is a face of the franchise, a guy that is an impactful player, a guy that should be able to contribute no matter where he goes. And Wiggins, although he had that one good year, or he had a couple good years in Golden State, to where in that series against the Celtics, I know games 5 and 6, he was phenomenal when the Warriors last won their title 4 years ago. But Andrew Wiggins isn't that type of player where you're going to say, oh, mark it down. This guy is 22-8 night in, night out. And that's not to knock Andrew Wiggins. We know he's a very good NBA player. Same with Bam Adebayo. Now you throw in the great player with Giannis. You also have Bobby Portis, who is more of a blood and guts guy. He's going to do the dirty work. Yeah, he can make your 11 to 13 points a game. Yeah, he could get that 50-50 ball, rebounds, etc. And Norman Powell, who, listen, I don't want to make him out more than what he is, but Norman Powell is a good complimentary guy on a team that has Giannis, etc., which makes the Heat a very good team. It makes them maybe from where they were in a 7 through 10 scenario, maybe they climb to as high as a 4 seed. But besides that, they are not a championship caliber squad. And I know Giannis, bringing him in, and if he's healthy, if he's going to play 75 games, and if he's going to average 29 to 32 points a game, and he's going to get 10 to 12 rebounds, and he's also going to, 5 or 6 dimes a game. If they're going to get that Giannis, who knows? Maybe they'll go a little bit higher. Maybe they get to a 3 seed, maybe even a 2. Heat culture, buy in. Once they have the press conference where Pat Riley can throw the rings on the table, he said, listen, I know you already got your 1 ring in Milwaukee, but now that you're part of this team and the culture and conditioning, etc., let's see what we're going to do here. But now the rest of the team is going to be filler. Yeah, you're going to get guys that are bit pieces or guys that may be long in the tooth but can contribute, or a guy that's going to come off the bench, and that's fine. Because even though you have 3 other guys, and I'm not going to put Powell in the mix, I'm going to put Portis, Wiggins, and Bam to go along with Antetokounmpo. How I look at it is that, to me, that's not enough. It's solid. And I understand that even with that core that they have there, they're going to win games and they're going to make the postseason, but not have to worry about the play-in. You would think they're going to make the top 6, somewhere along those lines. I think anywhere between, if you ask me, 3 and 6. But I'm not going to look at this team as a championship contender. Absolutely not. And unless they're going to get a point guard, which they need in the worst way, they don't have a point guard, and they don't have a bona fide scorer, meaning not to say you have to have a closer, but a guy that could get the ball in the final couple of minutes, is not afraid to take that big shot. Bam is not that guy. Giannis, all right, unless you're going to design a play for him to be down low, get a foul. But Giannis is not a mid-range player. Giannis, we all know, is downhill, bull in the china shop, get to the basket, get his dunks, get his layups, or if he gets anything down low within 5 to 7 feet, he's going to attack and get to the rim. And yes, I understand in the past he has made mid-range jumpers and has some success with the 3, but that's not his game. Giannis, similar to Wemby, where they need to have his presence down there in the low block. And when he and Adebayo to get a lot of those rebounds, putbacks, alley-oops, etc., that's where the Heat team is going to flourish. And obviously defense is going to be paramount in order for them to succeed, especially in this now new Giannis era. But besides that, I don't see them being a title contender. And that's not going out on a limb. That's just based on what I see now. If they're going to be able to manipulate I don't want to say the cap, but if they're able to get some mid-level exceptions and able to get some guys that are going to sign for the league minimum, and maybe another team is paying them off, as we've seen in the past, where last year when it was the Clippers, I was going to say Spurs, cut Chris Paul, and if somebody were to pick him up, whatever the deal was for Chris Paul, the league minimum will go to that guy, will go to Chris Paul, and the team will have to pay the rest of that. Unless they get a guy like that, but I don't see it. And I'll get to the comments in a minute. But Giannis, and listen, that's not a knock on him. That's not a knock on the Heat, Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra, none of it. And we understand that the East is not formidable. I get it's going to be the Knicks. I would think the Pistons, you have to put them back in there. Are they going to win 60 games again? I don't know, but they're not going to regress. Maybe they'll regress as far as wins, but it's not as if they're going to go from 60 to 43 as they were, a couple of years ago when they were a 6 seed when they faced the Knicks in the first round. I guess you got to throw Cleveland in there with the Donovan Mitchell. I don't even know what James Harden's status is. And he's not getting any better, people. He's, 37 years of age? And we know how he is come crunch time. The Celtics, which, of course, I'm going to get to momentarily. So it's not as if this conference is OKC, San Antonio, Denver, and those 3 teams, and it's everybody else. All right, you got to give the Knicks their due and their respect. You're going to look at them as the team everybody's going to gun And the Celtics, based on their recent track record, all right, but there could be some changes going on there in the not too distant future. And the Pistons, although I haven't won anything, but hopefully Jalen Duren's in the gym right now working on his game to get himself to that elite status and not just an all-star. So, yeah, it's still all in front of them for Miami. But when I look at that roster right this very second, I don't see a championship contender. I just don't. All right, now before I get to my next, let me get to the comments here. Before I get to my next thing, excuse me. And I see you got more usual suspects that have popped in. It's at 8 o'clock, but I'm going to be flipping back and forth because I'm going to be watching the Yankee game. Yes, so all right, 8 o'clock. Thank you, Ray, for confirming that. J-Rod in the house, greetings. Obviously, the Wolverines were all a part of the first round there yesterday. 8 p.m. draft, yes. Thank you there, Val. Hello, a lot of people in the room. Please, whatever you got, whatever's on your mind, put it in the chat room. I'm going through the comments now. I appreciate you hopping on board, checking out Independent Sports Talk at its finest. Yeah, this isn't anything that's scripted. This isn't anything that is packaged with clickbait and rage bait and all this nonsense. True passionate sports talk right here, people. So definitely stick with me here as we move it along. All right, what is this? Poopy and rain here again? Wow. Today's going to be 82. Yeah, we've had enough rain here over the last. It was beautiful Sunday, Monday, and yesterday, although it light up a little bit. But yeah, it was been cloudy and nasty the last couple of days, but today's beautiful. In the long run, I think the Bucks. Probably 72 degree. That's perfect. In your neck of the woods, J-Rod. Now looking for the Tigers game, looking like rain. All right. He wanted my New York Knicks. All right, Ray. Yaxel looks good for Michigan. Didn't know we were going to draft him, though. Yes, Bam plays for the Heat. Absolutely. Yes, he did play. Won a championship, as I mentioned. My anti-Michigan ticket showed up today. I got it. Oh, all right. Nice. Good for you there. J-Rod, I'm sorry. I'm not worried about him in Miami. My name is Few Pieces. Yeah, exactly. Elijah, what do I think of the trade? You're talking about the Giannis trade. As I said, short-term Heat, long-term the Bucks, or so we think, but that's long-term because those two picks in 2031, 2033, you have to wait half a decade plus. But to me, the bottom line is Giannis wanted to go to a place where he's going to win a championship. And that's not to say that he can't, but I don't see them being a championship contender. And even though you can say, well, Jay Reels, they still got time to sign people or still maybe even make a trade for that matter. Whether they're going to bring Norman Powell back, who knows? But you also got to remember, Giannis could get an extension that's up to $275 million. Bam is making max money. Now, Portis, I'm probably making 15 to 20. You don't want to get to that second apron. And who knows, maybe the Heat would want to get to that second apron knowing that they haven't had a lot of success here in the last couple of years. I know they went to a final 3 years ago, but they were outmatched and outclassed by the Nuggets. So who knows? But I don't think they're going to break the bank on anybody or anything unless somehow, some way, Pat Riley has more magic in his Armani suit where he could pull off a deal to bring somebody that's going to add that scoring or add the maybe not necessarily physicality, but add scoring or even bring in a point guard that they desperately need. Ohio State, Michigan. Oh, look at that. Wow, 1939. Charles Woodson helmet. Grad stuff interest tickets at the center. And J-Rod, if you don't know, he's from Michigan. And he's probably the biggest Michigan fan certainly the biggest Michigan fan that I know. So between the Heat getting better and some of the, you know what, Donovan? I could see that. I could. Now let's see what the Celtics are going to do. That's going to be critical to see where they stack in the pecking order. But yeah, unless they fill out their roster with guys that are going to buy in to the Heat culture and knowing that they have Giannis there as the guy and Bam's going to do what he does and Bobby Portis is there, as I mentioned, more of a glue guy, some physicality. Who knows if they're going to bring back Norman Powell? Yeah, but I don't know. I just don't see it right now. Pistons 52 wins, 14 market down. I can see that. Warriors, will they do well? Will they do well next year? Will they do well in the offseason? Steve Kerr is back. Who's their GM? I know Bob Myers is gone. Let's see. Yeah, I know Mike Dunleavy, but was he the guy that's going to make yeah, because Bob Myers was like the VP Warriors. There we go. Maybe it is Mike Dunleavy Jr. Executive Vice President of Basketball is Kirk Lacob, which is the son of Joe Lacob. I believe it's the son. It could be his brother. Don't quote me on that. Here we go. Let's just make sure. Oh, he looks young enough to be the son, if I had to say. Assist with all the day-to-day operations. Well, I guess it's going to be a thing where Dunleavy is going to be the guy, at least right now. So let's see what they do this offseason. All right, J-Rod. Knicks 1, Boston 2, Cleveland 3, Pistons 4. Place to bet. That's not bad. Now, here's the thing. Let me think about this for a second. Yeah, I could definitely see that. I wouldn't be surprised. Although the Knicks were a 3 seed the last 2 years. But, all right. J-Rod, that's a good prediction. Celtics J. Real seeming like Tatum is that. Yeah, absolutely. Val, you already know. Dare they do tickets? Yes. 91. I got to get out to the West Coast, man. Maybe not now. It's summertime here, but I got to get there soon. I would have been worried he got to Boston a little bit with him in Miami. No, I can understand that, Ray. Buy what company's the best thing. Yes, I agree with that too. Now, here's the thing with Amara. You love the size because he's a big body. He's not Chet Holmgren. As far as, Holmgren is as skinny as Wemby. And bringing him on board is certainly going to add an element to what we would think is going to be a great OKC San Antonio rivalry. Well, let's face it, San Antonio has the upper hand big time, not only based on them winning a conference final, but they beat them 4-5 in the regular season. But, yeah, and I will get to more of the draft stuff, too. OKC draft point guard. Yes, Bennett Sturts. You know what? And listen, you tip your cap to Sam Presti. I mean, the guy is he's been fantastic. Does Jaylen Brown even want to stay? Now, that's the $64,000 question, which I'll somewhat unpacking a little bit there, Ray. Bio, Merritt, Chet, maybe a range of problem. Yeah. Now, I don't know. Do they get rid of Chet now? Mike Dunleavy, yes. Do they get rid of him? I don't know if who knows what they could get back from him. But, yes, what Morez Johnson did, and we'll talk about that. Oh, look who's in the house. Never played an all-star game. Was he Rob? Well, he wasn't an all-star player, so. But Mark, greetings. I'll give you a shout. Thank you, J-Rob, for the prediction. Yes, that was good. All right, let me see. Oh, OKC has a team house on Hartenstein. Yes, he does. It's possible. Why not? Yeah, and he would be a big-time commodity out there for somebody because he's a big guy. Physical, not physical, but good defensively, good on the glass. Played for the Knicks there a couple of years ago. Yeah, that would certainly be a big pickup. Celtics could use him. OKC could draft. OKC can draft, they just can't win. That is true. Let's see. And this is going to be a big year for them because they have that core together. I know Holmgren right now, I don't know if you have any regrets on them, not you per se, Denovis, but knowing that the front office gave Chet 4 years, well over $200 million, that are they going to attribute that to him being a young player? And that's a learning experience, what happened there, especially in that Game 7? Or do they have a little buyer's remorse at this point? Rain Warriors, I'm starting an hour or so. All right. Now, let me get to the next thing here. Let me just, well, no, I don't want to do that. Hold on 1 second. All right. This should do right here. All right. I'll just leave that right there. Now, for you Celtic fans, that would be yours truly. Because Jaylen Brown was part of the Giannis sweepstakes, and for Brown, the offer was he and 2 future number ones for Giannis, where, listen, the Bucks took the sweeter deal, and I would have done the same. But now here's the thing. We know the offseason that Jaylen Brown has had. 24 hours after blowing a 3-1 series lead, he goes on his Twitch live stream to talk about the refs, to talk about Embiid, to talk about my favorite season this past year. And we've talked about that a million times, so no need to rehash that. But I bring that up only because between what happened there and now him being dangled for Giannis and that not being executed, to where does that leave Jaylen Brown as far as his status as being a Boston Celtic moving forward? I know Brad Stevens had a press conference talking about how he cannot predict the future. And of course, that's his way of covering his own ass, to be blunt. But saying that we've had discussions with Jaylen, we know how much we love him, how much he's a part of this team, and how he and Jason Tatum have been an enormous part of this organization. They've won a title, etc. And he said all the right things. I mean, what do you expect him to say? Number one. Number two, and yes, he's talking about, I can't predict the future. I can't this, can't that. Because he's not going to come out and say, yeah, we're dangling this guy. And let's say they get no takers. Oh, of course they're going to get takers. But let's say whatever the other team is offering, if it's too rich for the Celtics' blood and they can't afford that, and then next thing you know, training camp, here comes number 7 in from the locker room to take the photos and the interviews and all that. And he's got to be the professional and show up with a happy face. But on the inside, he's like, I want to be out of here. I don't want to be on this team anymore. So I talked about it yesterday. Damage control. They're going to have to say all the right things. And not only that, more importantly, approach Brown with the thought of, yes, we put you out there because Giannis, as you know, is a top 5 player. That's not to say that we think of any less of you. You know the rigmarole that the organization is going to have to go through in order to try to keep this player as happy as possible. But now, here's the part where I'm sure to a man, whether that's Brad Stevens, whether that's Bill Chisholm, the new owner, whether that's Stephen Pagliuca, who's underneath Bill Chisholm, and everybody else that's in that organization, and I have to admit, they have to do their best to trade him. And it's not to say that, oh, it's not working here, or it's not this, that's that. I think partly because Jaylen Brown has a voice. He's come out there, and we've seen him now in the streaming platform world, and that's fine. Athletes could do that. And it's not as if he said anything outlandish. All right, I take that back. Because you know, and I talked about this, check those receipts, I got on Jaylen Brown for coming across as a sore loser 24 hours after they blew a 3-1 series lead. And how I looked at it was that would you have said anything about the refs or Joel Embiid if you would have won Game 7 or Game 6 or even Game 5, where 2 of those games were in your building? And I can't recall Jaylen Brown pointing the finger at him to say, you know what? We fell short. I didn't do my job. I didn't deliver us to the second round. End of story. And that's what a good teammate, not to say he's a bad teammate, but when you have platforms like that, you can't go pointing fingers. Even if there may be some truth involved in that. You got to get to that microphone first thing. Hey, guys, Celtic Nation, I'm sorry. We didn't deliver. This is the first Celtic team to blow a 3-1 series lead. We blew it against our arch rivals. We blew the final out of the final 3 games, 2 of them at home. We lost 3 games at home in the series. I got to take the blame. That's it. Over and out. No, oh, this was my favorite season. No, this was nonsense. And we talked about that before, whatever. So, to me, the bed was already made. Not only does Jaylen Brown have to lie in it, but is it going to get to a point where do they mend these fences? And I don't think they can at this point. Or do they start shipping him for the right deal? And I think it should be the latter. Because whatever they could get for Jaylen Brown, and his stock is as high as it's going to get now. That's the other thing, which on the flip side with Giannis, let's say 2 years ago when things started to go awry, or maybe even let's even go back as far as last year. If that was the scenario for them to get rid of Giannis, that probably would have been at maybe not at its peak, but close to it. Where here, everybody's thinking about his injury history. Everybody's thinking about the mileage that he has on him. That's not to say he's going to be ineffective or not the same player if he's healthy, but is that if. Where Jaylen Brown, this is it. He has reached the pinnacle. And I'm sure he probably has 1 or 2 good years at this pinnacle, considering he's in the middle of his prime. But this is the time to ship him out. And not to say I want him out of town. I got nothing against him. And if they bring him back, I'd be all for it. Because he's won a championship with this organization. I can see it was a thing where they haven't won and they got to blow it up, where this hasn't worked and we're going to get rid of Brown before Tatum. Okay, fine. But I would think if you're going to say, and I'm just throwing speculation out here, you call the Atlanta Hawks. He's from the Atlanta area. You say, all right, I'll take Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels, and maybe a number 1 pick in 2031. Now, that's rich. I'm sure the Hawks would say, hell no. But you know what? If I'm the Celtics, that's where I'm starting. Why not? Johnson, who's up and coming. Dyson Daniels, maybe they'll put Daniels in before Jalen Johnson. But think about it. Jalen Johnson and Jaylen Brown pretty much play the same position. So he would have to come back in that trade. And a future number 1, it doesn't have to be a number 1 next year or whatever. Maybe you want 2029. Who knows? Why not? That's what I would do. And again, it's not like I just want to throw him out in the street. I've had enough of Jaylen Brown, whatever. Not in the least. But as a lifelong Celtic fan, I know that this is the time. Right this very moment. He's just finished becoming a second-team All-NBA player, I believe for the second time in his career. Career highs in points, rebounds, etc. Great two-way player. Arguably the best two-way player in the sport. This is the time to move him. Case closed. Clip it. I mean, I don't know what else to say in regards to that. All right, let me see what you got here comment-wise. I didn't think it'd be professional with it. You're talking about Brown? Ray? Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, be professional. You mean Brown as far as his attitude? Listen, he's a smart guy. He's not a guy that is going to... He could certainly use his player empowerment to go elsewhere. And you know what? He's earned the right to do that. He has. But he's not that type of player. He's a little bit more... How can I say? I don't know. He's not mild-mannered. I'm trying to find the right words. But you know what? Listen, I'd be more than happy to have him back. But if they were to trade him, not to say I won't shed a tear. I want to see what that package is. But again, and we know the NBA's a business. So I'm not going to look at it like, oh, no, we got to keep him. We got to keep him. There's a part of me that wants him to stay because he's been a lifelong Celtic, drafted by the team, as we know, 10 years ago. Won a championship, finals MVP, conference finals MVP, etc. But you're right. I'm not stupid or naive to think that, oh, no, we got to keep him. No. OKC has 3 first-round picks next year. I mean, that's just crazy when you think about it. Well, who do they have the rights to those other teams? Let me see. OKC's first-round picks. Because I got to see who. Right. Well, we know about the Clippers, but I want to see what the third one is. Oh, Denver. Oh, hold on. Denver's first-round pick, top 5 protected, selections 1 through 5, 27, 29. So their own pick, the Clippers pick. OKC has the right to swap it, or the Denver pick. Well, Denver should be good next year. So they're going to get their pick. Yeah, this is crazy. As I'm reading this article, this is from November 1st, 2023. Thunder acquires 2027 first-round pick swap from Clippers, which obviously that's the. When was that Paul George deal? It wasn't then, right? No. Was it before that? I mean, that's Sam Presti for you. I mean, I don't even know what to say. All right, hold on. But bio, I know that's crazy. And the thing is, how are you going to pay all these guys? I seen the Nick's trash can dumped down the trash on the street and was recorded doing so. Lost her job, actually had consequences of thought. I tell you, man, this day and age, you got to watch what you do. You got to watch what you say. You got to watch what you do. And listen, the job has the right to do that. I mean, why would somebody want to dump garbage out on the street? So litter your own, maybe it's not the block where they live. I think it was in Manhattan. Oh, why would you do that? Why? Was it worth it? I'm sure she's probably putting that on eBay or trying to fetch a price tag for it at this point, considering now she's out of work. But I just don't understand. Yeah. All right, this is my favorite NBA season because I never thought I'd see a season like this. Oh, no, of course, Ray. 100%. I beat Jurassic Park for the Sega Genesis yesterday. Yeah, I never played that. I mean, obviously, that game was a little bit later in my video game era. But then again, as you know, I only played the sports games. Later on, I played a couple of the other video games, but I never really got into that. I'll never forget the season. Oh, as you shouldn't. 5 more days, Val. Hey, Mark, being nice. That's good. Good to see. Good to see. Wish I can go back to 22 years old. Oh, God, 22 years old for me? What was I doing 22? Yeah, 22, I got involved with a girl, lived with her. Obviously learned lessons, of course. Fun in the beginning. Lived with her for a year, only to come back from Florida the year later to move out. Yeah. Oof, that was a long time ago. Memphis Grizzlies, Charlotte Hornets, those have 3 first pack. Wow. Yeah, I wonder where those picks are from. Yeah, I'll look those up later. Brown has to go, but the Celtics can't take all 7 of 8. No, you're right about that. Yeah, they got to act now. I totally agree with you, Donovis, because the longer the summer, let's say, for instance, well, put it this way. If we get any report that Brown is 100% okay with coming back, considering what has taken place, then fine. Then the Celtics shouldn't move him. Don't play with his emotions, which is important because let's just say, for argument's sake, they're meeting as we speak, and they put everything on the table. And Jaylen Brown says, I want to remain a Celtic. I don't want to go anywhere. If by any chance you want to trade me, let me know now. Because he could come out and say, I know you can't predict the future, Brad Stevens, but in a way, predict the future. Because don't say that you're all in with me now. And then, yeah, Atlanta Hawks start calling and say, yeah, we'll give you Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels, number 1 pick next year, if they do have the number 1 pick, and a number 1 pick 2 years from now. So 27, 29. And all of a sudden, Brad Stevens like, well, Jalen, I'm sorry, we're going to have to trade you. They can't do that. And I understand there's no loyalty in sports. I get it, whatever. But they cannot do that. And listen, they did that to Isaiah Thomas, not Detroit Pistons point guard. But remember, Isaiah Thomas in 2017, when he went to a conference final against Cleveland, and remember his sister got murdered, and he missed the first part of that opening series, which was against Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was the Bulls, because then they played the Wizards, and then they played the Cavs. And water, by the way, cheers, everybody, H2O. And for them, and Isaiah Thomas, that's what he had that 2-year run where I believe it was the second team All-NBA, was off the chain. Nobody expected him to play like that. And then he missed time in that opening series because of his sister was murdered, and then also had the hip injury, but this and that. And then they traded him for Kyrie. And people are like, wow, look what they did to him. He was a guy that had a rebirth in Boston, had 2 back-to-back killer years, brought them to a conference final, and then shipped them for Kyrie, which at the time, I will say, and I wasn't a big Kyrie fan then, but that was the trade I had to do. I mean, come on, Isaiah Thomas or Kyrie Irving? That was a no-brainer. Now, mind you, the Celtics did trade the final Brooklyn net pick to Cleveland, which was for 2018, because 2016 and 2018 were pick swaps, and 2017, they had the number 1 pick overall, but they traded that with Philly, and they drafted Tatum. And that pick was Colin Sexton that went to Cleveland. So just to put that all in perspective. But, yeah, they just got to be upfront with him. That's it. And we'll see. But you're right about that. I do agree with you, sorry, Donavis, I do agree with you. They can't take all summer, and they have to iron it out. Or if Brown comes out to say, you know what, guys, I want to have my own team. These are the spots I want to go to. Don't put it out in the press. Don't say anything. And, of course, rumors and stuff will get out. But, yeah, and then we'll see what happens. But where would he go realistically? Where would he go? I mean, I said this yesterday. I won't go back down that road. Yeah, I think you could trade him to a young team that's looking to take that next step, or you got a guy that's won a championship that knows what it takes to win. He'd be perfect in Atlanta. But what does Atlanta want to give up? That's number 1. If the Celtics were to trade him, I'm sure they want to trade him out west, so I don't have to see him 3 to 4 times in a regular season and maybe even in a postseason down the road. Now, San Antonio, OKC, no, they're not going to trade him there because unless Jalen Williams is going to come back in that deal, and I don't know if they're going to want to do that, but who knows? Jalen Williams had these nagging injuries, had the thumb to start the year, then he had the hamstring, and et cetera. And he's what, 25 years of age, where Brown's 29. And the contracts do match up. Maybe you go there. I don't know if OKC would do that. Any other team out west? I don't know. Does Portland get involved? And they've made deals with the Celtics before in the past. Now, I don't know who you want to get back. Listen, they're not going to part with Shaedon Sharpe or Donnie Avdija. I think I pronounced that name right. Do it even dare do that? They give up Avdija. Now, one thing I would say, the Celtics do need, now they need a guy that can rebound. They need a power forward. In the worst way, they need that. But they also need a point guard. Derek White, although very good, but did not have a good year. Not that they were part with Scoot Henderson. Now I'm coming up with all these different speculations. To answer your question there, Ray, I don't know. I gave you a few teams. I know Houston could also be another one too. I know I talked about that yesterday. But I don't know. Are they going to give up? Alperen Şengün and Amen Thompson. And who was the third player I saw that was reported? Oh, Jabari Smith Jr. I think the novice brought that up yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I mean, listen, if Houston wants to do that, I'd do that in a heartbeat. But Jaylen Brown's going to play with Kevin Durant? I don't see that happening. Valby has to be guest Monday on the live. Oh, yeah. No, I can, you know what? I can maybe do that. I'll talk to Val about that. Now, Val, I don't know. You going away? Where will you be? Uh-oh. We got a new AKA in the house. I can't believe it. I love it. Now you got to tell us the reason for this name. Waffle Iron Whale. And look at the emoji. I love it. Any reason? There's got to be a reason for that, right? Because just like wrote a pen mark with the whole, oh, man. Oh, maybe he made this up, Fuqua. Whale waffle irons, kitchen gadget. No, there's no such thing called a waffle iron whale. I love it. Fuqua, a.k.a. Fuqua. Now we can put that to rest. A.k.a. Fuqua Johnson, a.k.a. Minnesota Fats, a.k.a. Rhoda Penmark, a.k.a. Kai Bowie Bull, a.k.a. Everyday Mets, a.k.a. Jonathan Sean Cup, a.k.a. Tatsuya Mai. Wow. Waffle Iron. You got to tell us the origin of that name. I mean, that's as good as it gets. I hear you, J-Rod, the damn spell check. Yes, I could do that. What I will do is I'll have you come on after the podcast. So once I go through all what's happening in sports, I'll have you come on and wish you happy birthday. We'll do that. Absolutely. I don't understand it either, J Reels. And that is why she took it to sell it. Don't make sense to me. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Maybe, listen, but like I said, I hope it was worth it for her. Yes, day 49 after another brutal game last night. I know they lost 9-6, but they were down 7-2. Oh, do I even need to start? I didn't want to talk about it. David Stearns with his press conference yesterday. Oh, my God. Do I need to go there? I know I said I don't want to talk about the Mets anymore, but it's like there's zero accountability. You know what? For the hell of it, give me 5 minutes, people. I wasn't going to talk about this today, but because I see Carlos Mendoza, David Stearns had the nerve to come out yesterday to say that, and I understand to a certain extent, what he's going to do. He's going to kill the team. So, yeah, we've been awful. Yeah, my trades have been terrible. Obviously, he's not going to do that. I understand. But there's no accountability. Come on. When he steps to that microphone, and I can go through some of these quotes, when he steps to that microphone, here's the first thing, before anybody even asks him a question. The first thing to say, all right, I know we're approaching the halfway point of the season. We're 10 games under 500. This is not where we want to be. It's unacceptable. It starts with me. I'm the one that put this team together. I still believe in the talent, which, yeah, we could laugh under our breath. You can say, I still believe in the talent. I don't know what's going to happen here over the course of the next month. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of you guys, the media, going to ask when we're going to start selling. We still have weeks to go. I'm not going to approach that right now, which he has a right to say that, even though, come on, it's still a joke. But he should say, yes, this has not been the season that we were hoping for. This has not been the season that we were expecting. The Met fan, he could say to all those guys that are sitting out there and gals and children, etc., that are sitting out there, I feel you. I hear you. It's been an eyesore. But you know what? Hopefully we get some guys healthy back. Hopefully we can make a run at this thing over the course of the next month. And yeah, we're not selling right now, which you could say, but there's no excuse for how we perform this year. And it starts with me. He didn't say anything like that. If I pull up some of the, whatchamacallit, some of the things that he said, Stern says there's still time for the Mets to contend. All right. I should get this guy on. Jorge Castillo. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to take a picture of this. Yeah. He's a writer, ESPN. And these are quotes. I think we're going to continue to give this team time to prove that we could get back in this in a very legitimate sense. You're 10 games under 500. As I said before, I don't want to talk about this team anymore. I really don't. But like Fuqua said, the call's been those are day 49, and it just triggered what Stern said in watching this. And I just said, you're not fooling anybody. Think about this. He says one more time, I think we're going to continue to give this team time to prove that we could get back in this in a very legitimate sense. July 1st is a week from today. That's number one. Number two, they have played 78 games. They're going to play 3 games in the next 24 hours, the doubleheader to make up for Monday and tomorrow. So by the time we get to Friday, they're going to play half their season. They are 10 games under 500. They are 7.5 back of the last playoff spot. And I get it. We saw the Tigers 2 years ago come from nowhere. We saw the Guardians, who had, I believe, around July 1st, they were 12.5 back in the division, and they won the division last year. I get it. Anything can happen. And I don't expect him to come out to say, well, the season's over, guys. We're just going to pack it up and go home. I get it. But who is he fooling by making that comment when they are literally, count them on both hands, behind 500, 7.5 in the wild card? Their starting pitching is a flat-out disaster. And then Juan Soto has back stiffness, where he's day-to-day, but who knows? With the Mets, he could be out 6 weeks. And Lindor could come back tomorrow. I don't know. But this team is not going anywhere near a wild card spot. And I'm not saying that to get a reverse jinx. I'm not saying that to, let's hope to see whether or not by me saying this that they're going to make me look bad. I hope I'm wrong in saying all this. But come on. The trade deadline is August 3rd. Why did they push that up a few days? Usually July 30th, 31st. But then he says, I think Steve Cohen, that is, wants us to certainly be better than we are. He's frustrated. We're all frustrated. Steve expects us to do better than this. I expect us to do better than this. He, like me, is going to withhold judgment on any sort of trade deadline strategy until we make a decision close to that time. All right, I guess he could say that part. He doesn't have to say it on June 24th. But here's the thing that it just blows my mind. I expect us to do better than this. No shit. This is where he has to come out and be real. I failed up until this point. All right, he may not say that. I got to look in the mirror. I did not do a good job. He could say that. The fan base will respect him for saying that. One more time, it's accountability. That's all. You're not fooling the Met fan. This guy's from Queens, lived a stone's throw from Shea Stadium, and he's going to come out and say, I expect us to do better. We're all frustrated. Last thing I'll say, and I'll move on, I promise. Quote, we've got a sense of urgency throughout our team right now. We also can't put everything on Francisco to come back at a time when he hasn't been playing baseball very much and expect him to put us on his back. My guess is he put some pressure on himself, meaning Bo Bichette. He got off to a rough start, wanted to help us. We as a team weren't scoring a lot of runs. There was probably some pressing there, which is very natural for a player on a big contract. I mean, come on. Stop it with this. I think it'd be fair to point out, similarly last year when we had struggles, there's absolutely something we're talking about internally. We got to be more consistent throwing strikes. Yeah, look, and then with Peralta, McLean, Minaya, we need a way to figure it out and get outs later into games. And stop. I've had enough. All right, what's next? They annoy me so much, the Mets. I've asked to pay to block. That's different. Uh-oh. Is it wrong that I didn't care about the Yankee series against the Cincinnati Reds because I was on cloud nine thanks to my Knicks? No. I'll give you a pass on that, Ray. Shaw don't have a chance to make themselves contend in the next couple of seasons. Yeah, they do. I didn't know they had 3 first-round picks. You like their core. LaMelo, Concaneppel, Brandon Miller, the other kid, Diabate. They need some veteran presence, though. They definitely need that. 22, I was getting out of prison, walk clear, free, no parole, no probation, fun time. Oh, look at that. Hey, you grew up, man. That's when you knew at that point in your life. Good for you, Jay. That's why Jay's channel is different, best channel. Oh, thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. You know me. I'm still plugging away. I got to. Something's got to change at some point. Not the channel. I'm just talking about me trying to get the channel to a point where I could start generating income. It's the same song and dance if I told you guys in the beginning. Make it happen. Valby is against. Absolutely. I will do that. Jay Rose, you see Craig got? Oh, my God. Yes, I did see this. You ready for this bio? I think it was 7th inning. Maybe it's 6th inning. 7-2. Cubs were up. Runner on first. The count was 3-2. The runner was going. Pitch was called a ball. The catcher still threw down to second. And as you know, when the umpire behind the home plate calls it a ball, plays over. It's dead. Runner gets second base. So with the runner going, catcher throws, make the tag, he's out at second. Counsel comes out and says, wait a second. That was ball 4. He automatically takes his base. And the umpires overruled that. What? That's why Counsel got ejected. That you can't even make up. I mean, I don't even know how. I mean, I'd still be arguing with the umpires on that. I mean, that is just inexcusable. A 10-year-old would have been like, all right, that was ball 4. Yeah, run on first, safe at second. And that was Pete Crow Armstrong who got thrown out. He had his arms up in the air. He couldn't believe it. I'm going there. Jay, who's the all-time GOAT in basketball? Oh, no, here we go. No, I would say Jordan also. And I'm not saying that because you wrote that. I would have said Jordan anyway. Yeah, I would have said Jordan. And listen, Kareem, you can even argue that Kareem is second greatest all time. Because, I mean, the guy was just, I understand at 40 years old, he was averaging 10 points a game where LeBron is averaging 20. And you're splitting hairs at that point, but Kareem gets forgotten, man. Kareem, people don't know how great. He was not even great. I mean, the guy was, forget it. And I saw Kareem more back half of his career. I didn't see, he first came in the league, 69? 70? Won a title with the Bucks in 71. And was traded to LA 75, 76. I think it was after that year. So I saw Kareem more 80 to 89. So I saw more the back half. But even still, Kareem was still dominant in those years. Winning in 80. Didn't play in that game 6, as you know, Magic Johnson against Philly. But listen, Kareem takes a backseat. He doesn't have to take a backseat to anybody in my eyes. So last time I was at Barclays Center, a man kicked me. No reason at all. Really? Why did a man kick you? And you got to tell me more about this Waffle Iron Whale name because I love this name and I love the emoji. I mean, it's classic. Classic. Ray, that was a 2018 draft where a number 1 guy picked number 33. Oh, yeah. Of course. Jalen Brunson. 100%. He may answer. I took notes. I know what you're. The comment I'm not posting before there, Mark, but I don't know. He may answer what? Oh, as far as who's the GOAT? Yeah, I got to catch up on these comments. Hang on. I don't think they'll be able to play together, Katie and Jay. Yeah, I totally agree. There's no backstory for Waffle. Oh, Waffle Iron Waffle. I love it. What if Joel only gets traded this time? I could change these as well. That could. I don't know, with the Sixers. Now, listen, they're going to have. Do they have a new GM in there? I forgot who it is. No, wait, isn't it Jameer Nelson? No, Jameer Nelson. I know he got promoted, but he's not the GM. Here's the thing. If you're taking Joel Embiid, I don't know. With that contract, how many? I mean, he got like monster money coming to him. And I think his contract extensions didn't start last year. Here are the numbers for Joel Embiid. You ready? Oh, fully guaranteed deal. Oh, geez. His deal starts this coming year. 3 years. Ready for this, people? 3 years, $193 million. $57 million next year, $62 the year after that, and $67 player option the year after that. I wouldn't touch that. That's not to say he couldn't get traded, but that could change the East. I don't know. I don't know what team will get. I wouldn't take him. Guarantee, if you can guarantee me that he's healthy and could play in the postseason, not oh, I only played 3 games in the postseason or 4 games. No, I need 4 rounds. I wouldn't touch that guy. And it's nothing against him, nothing personal. That is strictly business. If he gets traded, he's probably going to go to a team that needs box office appeal, I guess. I don't know. Why Pete Rose is in the Hall of Fame? Should he be or not? Last question today. Do you think he should be? Well, no, he's going to get. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if you saw this, Mark, but last year, they now have cleared not only Pete Rose, but Shoeless Joe Jackson to get into the Hall of Fame. But they have to wait 2 years. I don't know what the committee is. I don't think it's the Veterans Committee. It's some committee. Maybe it's the baseball writers. Who knows? But they got to wait 2 years in order to be elected and then inducted. What? No, put him in this year. End of story. Look it up. I mean, come on. We know Pete Rose is a Hall of Famer. Even better. Oh, yeah, without question. I understand a lot of his teammates didn't love him. But I like dinos. How often you goon? I think you mean go on, right? What up, dinos? Hopefully you're still with us. Mondays, 11 a.m., which I'm going to talk about tomorrow's podcast, by the way. Monday and Thursday, 11 a.m., Wednesday, 12 p.m. That's Eastern time. I don't know what part of the country or world you're from. Stearns in denial. You should have said Lindor needs to be our savior or else we will trade it. And the chairs. Yeah. You think you might be home? All right. Good to know, just so we can get you on, Val. And people say New York Knicks fans are delusional. Who's delusional now? Well. That's funny. I don't know many, prior to this championship, I don't know many delusional Knicks fans. I mean, if anything, they're more jaded and cynical like the Met fan. Not anymore, of course. Who's the delusional fan base? I guess the Cowboy fan? But that's the young Cowboy fan. Unless you have some older ones, I don't know. I'll be available. I'll watch your podcast. Count me in. Yes. Thank you, Val. Oh, look at Val's going to buy steaks. All right. Yes, I'll send you the link. I'll make sure to send it to you probably by Sunday morning, my time, because I know obviously on the West. There's no accountability, but not a zero. The Mets, Yay, look who's there. Holland Dan Sock. What's going on? Welcome, man. Good to see you. Sup, y'all go Netherlands? All right. And if the Dutch don't win World Cup, all right. So you're going big time on. What is this, Mark? My XRP crashing? Gotta go. Yeah, I know XRP. All right, Mark. I hope you come back, Mark. I don't know what the XRP is. If the Netherlands don't win, you'll riot. All right. What if they get, and now they lose a close match? I'm sure you're not going to be happy. But if they were, I don't want to say blown out, but if the other team beat them soundly, would you still riot? Hopefully you don't. Hopefully you don't, Dan Sock. Minus Chamberlain. You're talking about Will Chamberlain? Toppers. Greetings. Who's the all-time GOAT in NCAA football? I'm going to say Tebow. Oh, college football player. I grew up on the bald head Kareem. Yeah, I remember Kareem when he still had hair on his head and the goggles, but then, yeah. But majority it was the bald head for sure. Me puts me good again back. Oh, so you're back with us. All right, that's good, Mark. Let me go back to Toppers. All-time GOAT in football. That's a good question. I don't know. You want to go back as far as, I don't know how far you want to go back. Yeah, because you can't just base it on Heisman Trophy wins. I mean, if that's the case, Archie Griffin won it twice. I know it's a name J-Rod doesn't want to hear. Archie Griffin, Ohio State. Yeah, I don't know. Do you go all the way back? When you talk about, 30s and 40s and that's a good question, Toppers. If I had to guess, and I don't want to go like recency bias, I want to say somebody in the last like 20 years. I would say great college players. You could say Tebow. I know he's won the. Didn't he win? No, he won one Heisman, right? I don't know. Did he win two? I don't even know. It's funny because we could talk about college basketball a lot easier when it comes to the top college players. And funny enough, we've been talking about Kareem. He's number one, hands down. But for college football, because you're thinking offensive plays, thinking defense too. Man, I really have to give that some thought. I mean, players that come to mind, Roger Staubach, Navy, who won a Heisman. You look at some of the, Paul Hornung was great. Notre Dame. I mean, it's weird because, yeah, you look at players like, remember when Ricky Williams was an all-time leader in rushing in NCAA Division I history. And I believe Ron Dane, remember him from Wisconsin? I mean, come on, those guys aren't. And I understand sometimes players have had good college careers and not good pro careers. You know, there's a guy you could argue who's also a great college player was Reggie Bush. And we've talked about him in the past before. But I don't know. That's a good one there, Toppers. I have to give that some more thought. Did the GOAT, Michael Jeffrey? Yeah, he's my GOAT. Yes, I did see that, Val. No, Tebow was tough. Can't knock it. What is this that you saw, Mark? Hold on. And you're not a fan of the president. All right. But he made it happen? I don't know. He said he made it happen, and that's not your guy. Okay. People said, yeah, I agree, Ray, 100%. Ain't my neighbor. Why? What's happening? Michigan's fans, are they delusional? I don't know. You would have a better sense of that than I do. I said if the USA wins in a round of 32, I'll quit smoking cigarettes. Oh, is that right? All right, listen. We're going to hold you to that there, J-Rod. And I mean it. All right, good. Pretty sure you heard this thing before. Being a Mets fan is like being a Knicks fan, not anymore. No, you know what's funny? The Met fan is like the Jet fan. Same deal, I think. Herschel Walker. Oh, how about Bo Jackson? Yeah, Bo Jackson, college, Auburn. No, Herschel Walker was no joke either. Went to Georgia. Didn't have a great pro career, though. Tebow good, but Roger, Cincinnati guy? Yeah. Hold on. Oh, you're welcome, Toppers. No doubt. Anytime. Reggie Bush, Reginald right now. What? Oh. I can agree with Bush. He was a star ever since he got a decent amount of time. No, he was great on the field. Sign me up ready for a birthday podcast. Yeah, don't worry, Val. I'll get you. You wore your good outfit? All right. Herschel outdid Bo on paper. He probably did. Now that you say that, Mark. And I know how much you love Bo Jackson. So I don't want you to think that that's gone unnoticed either. So. All right. Hold on. Mike Hart at Michigan. Beast all 4 years he played Mike Hart. Yeah, why am I drawing blanks with him? When did he play there, J-Rod? I'm curious. Yeah, I don't know why. I'm drawing blanks with his name. Mark speaks facts. I'll put that on there for you, Mark. All right, let's see what I got. There's a couple of things I want to talk about before we go. Let's go here. Now, I understand that the NBA is littered with guards, and I understand that you're not going to take big men at a certain slot when you know it could be a reach. And with the Brooklyn Nets trading for Julius Randle, they send Nico Claxton 3-way deal, Chicago, and who's the other team that got involved? They'll come to me. But here they are. Last year, they had 5 draft picks, the Nets, and 4 of the picks that they used on were guards. And 2 of them point guards. I think 3 of them are point guards, which is bananas. Sean Marks, what are you doing? The GM. But to me, I think I don't want to say the big story because it's not. But why did the Brooklyn Nets not pick Darius Acuff Jr. is beyond me. And I understand he doesn't play defense. And I get it. They look at Mikhail Brown as a guy that is a little bit bigger, maybe a little bit more polished defensively. But Acuff is a guy that will, at least me, electrify the crowd, would reignite whatever is going on over there at the Barclays Center. And yeah, I hated that move. When I saw Brown came off the board, and I said, and then the thing was that Sacramento, literally once that pick was made by the Nets, if you blinked 3 times, Sacramento had the pick is in because they couldn't believe that he fell in their lap. And that could be one that will sit with them and the 20 diehard Net fans that are out there for a generation. But no shock at the top with the Bansa, Peterson, and Cameron Boozer. Caleb Wilson who I saw an interview saying that he wants to be better than Mike. And funny that you have the tie, him being at North Carolina and gets drafted by the Bulls. So, hey, he wants all that smoke. Well, nobody since Jordan left in 98 has even come close. Forget about to being Jordan, but come close to being. Now, Derrick Rose was, I get it, but obviously the knee injury curtailed his career. But, hey, we'll see if Caleb Wilson's going to be that guy. But, yeah, and I know Morris Johnson, I know J-Rod came at me saying that, why would they choose Morris Johnson? The only thought process would be because of the injuries with Derek Lively and PJ Washington. They wanted to have a big man, and because of the familiarity with the new coach, Dusty May, bringing Johnson on board, that is my only reason for why they were able to select him. And then the Bucks had the 10th pick with Braden Burries. They also drafted Nate Ament from Tennessee, where his teammate Jacoby Gillespie will be in the second round. I'd like to see where he's going to go. To the Warriors, Yaxel Landenberg for Val's team. Bring size. Won a championship. That's certainly going to help. Ademar, as we know, in OKC. Bennett starts Memphis. But went to OKC in that trade. That's right, because I got to read this thing with the trades. How could I forget that? Hold on. Yeah. And then it's funny. I know we were talking about the name the other day, this Jaden Quaintance from Kentucky. And who drafts him? The Spurs, because they need some muscle and physicality. Yeah, the one guy that actually could be a surprise, I know that drafted him, the Pistons, is that kid Kareem Lopez. A lot of people think that he could be a sleeper in this draft based on some of the things that I heard about him, that he's still has to develop his jumper, but he can pass, he can rebound, he's very athletic. But yeah, needs to improve his shooting. Who else? Yeah, Zuby Ojiafor went to Atlanta, the former St. John's player. Cameron Carr, like you mentioned there earlier, the Knicks drafted, but obviously got traded. Tarris Reed to reconnect with Stephon Castle. Wait, was Reed? He was on that team 2 years ago. Celtics drafted the kid from Houston, Chris Sanak. Big guy. Hopefully he can not only add the length that they need, but also the rebounding, as we know. And then Alex Caravan went to Sacramento. Koa Pete to Phoenix. So he stays in the state there. And that was the Dallas selection. And as we know, the Knicks are going to pick first in the second round tonight. Brooklyn, who, remember, they traded that to Minnesota because they moved up. As a matter of fact, who did they get in that second pick? Oh, so Joshua Jefferson is the other kid that they picked. Yeah, the forward from Iowa State. Yeah, and as far as the players, like who to look out for tonight, I mentioned that Jacoby Gillespie. Let's see where he goes. Isaiah Evans from Duke. Whom else? Yeah, the kid from North Carolina, Henry Visar, the big. There was a couple other guys that I know I saw, and I was like, oh, yeah, that guy's going to get drafted in the second round. But, yeah, we'll see how that shakes down tonight. NBA draft. But, yeah, I thought – and then, yeah, we could talk about which team's done well. Obviously, OKC did well. You would think even Memphis, considering they got Boozer and a point guard. What does that mean for a one John Morant? We'll have to wait and see. Oh, also the kid from Purdue is also out there, Braden Smith. Let's see where he goes, if he does go here in the second round. So That's what the NBA. Let's see if there's anything else here. No, that's it. All right. Let's see what we got comments here. Let's get this out of here. Let's scroll up. 04 to 08. Okay, that's when Hart played. Yeah, thank you, J-Rock. Because, for some reason I was trying to think back and it didn't register. Hart would have won the Heisman Trophy. Oh, you're going to try to go live 6:45, Ray? Okay. 6:45. Yeah, I'll probably be cooking at that time, so I got to make sure to tune in. Troy Smith, Ohio State. Yeah, I remember him. Didn't he win? Hold on a second. Did he not win a Heisman Trophy? I believe he was drafted by the Ravens. I remember him playing in the final game of the year back in, I think it was 07. Yeah, he did win a Heisman Trophy. Yeah, he amounts to, he didn't even play in the NFL. He had stints here, stints there, but yeah. Obviously, that's his claim to fame. As far as your boy Darryl Strawberry, I would have destroyed him. Got class, though. Ignorant. Oh. Strawberry Larry looks like Sin's guy in real life. All right. No, you can't say that about Strawberry now. Come on, Mark. The Pistons traded Lopez for a 17 pick. Oh, is that right? Oh, okay. I was not. Why didn't I see that? Hold on. All right. I think my team has funding first. They want to get money out to pay you up. Yeah, that would help. Yeah, because they don't want to get in that second apron. That second apron is a death knell. Oh, you know what? The Mets are on now, right? I got to turn that on. Yeah, I have the TV on. I have it muted, even though it's over there. I'm actually going to watch the Mets. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Becco Corey and some picks. Oh, you're right about that, J-Rod. Only speak facts. Facts do mine. Mine don't add up all firsthand. All right. I want to talk about this real quick. And then I'll get into two other things. Well, really three. I'll try to squeeze it in here. I think it's highly unfair for her to be the poster child for what she said about Jalen Brunson. And I'm only bringing this up because, listen, you know how many predictions I get wrong. And how many others. You've seen the montages, and we've talked about it here in the past. But Becky Hammond comes out and calls Jalen Brunson a 1A. We know the comments. And listen, she doubled down. She admitted that her opinion was wrong, but she's never going to be wrong for stating an opinion and calling Brunson the outlier. Because, not many small guys, 6 feet under, or in this case, 6'3" and under, are going to take a team to a title. And I just don't like it now. The Kenyon Martins of the world and guys like that. Kenyon Martin was a guy that once said that he would take Kyrie Irving over Luka Doncic. And listen, that's no knock on Kyrie. We know probably best handles in the history of the sport, attacks the basket, etc. Nobody's questioning his skill set. But I'm sure there are 29 other GMs in the sport that if you had Kyrie and Luka, the majority are going to take Luka. And here's a guy who used to play in this sport. And he could look at me, you don't know anything about J Reels. Sorry, I'm taking Luka over. And Kyrie doesn't play defense, as we know. So he could say, Luka doesn't play defense. Well, Kyrie doesn't either. He tries. And he tries more than what Luka does, but still. But I just don't like it. And listen, I am not on the payroll. I am not a shill for Becky Hammon in the least. But when I hear comments from a lot of people, and some of them are just stupid, silly comments, but even from basketball people to say that, they need to pipe down. Because just like, I'm not that I'm trying to pick on him or whatever, but Stephen A. and a lot of these other people, get on them before you get on Becky Hammon. And that's all I got to say about that. World Cup concludes second week. I mean, think about it. Tomorrow would be the start of the third week of the World Cup. Ronaldo scored a goal. So I know for those who are talking about, oh, he's 41, why is he starting? Well, yeah. He said, put that in your pipe and smoke it. And, excuse me, for him to now scoring 6 World Cups or different World Cups, kudos to him. But we all know, and I'll talk more about the World Cup tomorrow because obviously the podcast, it's going to be a little bit more tailored as to what we could really look ahead to and teams that are qualified. Colombia is another team that also has qualified. And I think they're going to be tricky, by the way. But, yeah, that's what I got there with the World Cup. I mean, I can get into a little bit more. And the NHL, I know you had a lot of trades. Nothing major, blockbusters, but there has been some movement. And the draft is Friday. Haven't heard a lot of buzz. Now, let me find out. You know what? Let me just double check this. For all I know, he's not even coming out. All right. Yeah, prepares for life in the NHL. Yeah, Gavin McKenna. I mean, that's going to be the guy. So, yeah, I'll get into a little bit of NHL tomorrow, but I just had to put that up there just for acknowledgement. And then the latest MLB news and notes, which, listen, yeah, I'm not talking about the Mets. Already been there, done that. Let's see. Hold on. There was something I wanted to discuss. Oh, now the Mets are moving Senga to the bullpen. His ERA is over 10, by the way. Cole Reagans have surgery on elbow. Yeah, Devers apologized to Tony Vitello for his reaction, which, as we talked about, that was a joke. Let me see. Hold on. We're standing as soon as the plane had a good conversation. So after that, so it's a non-issue. All right, good for them. Listen, as far as what's happening in baseball, I saw some people go crazy. And I know it may be strong, but there were some people that were going crazy over Jazz Chisholm playing in the field, sucking on a lollipop. Now, is it unconventional? Yes. Is it a little bit presumptuous? A little. Because you don't see other players do it. And Jazz is the type of guy who dances to his own beat. I get it. But how can he do that? Why is he playing with I think it's like as he was sucking on a lollipop and he looked over to Anthony Volpe and he just kind of like shrugged or whatever. We know he's a different character, but are there any written rules about not sucking on a lollipop when you're out in the field? There's people who chew gum. I understand, well, it's in their mouth, Jay Reels. Or sunflower seeds, you see them spit it out. Oh, but it's still in their mouth. A-Rod was one who chewed gum and chewed sunflower seeds, which how the hell he did that is beyond me. To me, it has much to do about nothing. I can't believe people actually made this a story. And the only reason why I bring it up is because, come on. Is it more the player because of who he is? Or is it because of him having the lollipop? I think it's more about him. Players don't like, not players. I take that back. People don't like Jazz Chisholm and people in the media, so they're going to get after him and say, why does this guy have a lollipop? What's he doing? Does anybody remember, and I'm sure Bio remembers this name. I don't know, J-Rod, you may remember. Mark, I don't know how old you are, but I'm sure you may remember this name. There was an infielder, I believe he played shortstop. He may have platooned with Freddie Patek back in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s. By the name of UL Washington, may he rest in peace. Light hitting shortstop, platoon player. He played and went to bat, but also played in the field with a toothpick in his mouth. That was his thing. I understand you can say, well, Jay Reels, that was 45 years ago. Why are you even bringing that up? Well, I bring it up is because if Chisholm has a lollipop out of his mouth and people are outraged, and I'm sure it's the older sports writer, maybe it's the young one too, who knows? But let's say it's the older sports writer. Look at this. Did you not forget about UL Washington? And I want to, well, toothpick is skinnier as opposed to, so what? Heaven forbid, if he's diving for a ball and he chokes on it, whose fault is that? It's Jazz Chisholm. All right? Or if there's a pop-up and he's going back, and because he has this lollipop in his mouth, and he's trying to say, I got it, and he can't because he's choking on a damn thing, whose fault is that? Jazz Chisholm. So I'm not going to look at that as like, oh, he should. Well, all right, maybe he should not be out there with that, because considering those scenarios could happen where he's diving for a ball and the freaking thing is halfway down his throat, and heaven forbid he chokes on it, or he can't call off the right fielder because he's underneath the pop-up. And again, that's the manager. Maybe the manager will say, hey, Chaz, please don't do that. But I didn't have a problem with it. And you know me, I'm old school, but if I could say UL Washington has a toothpick and Jazz Chisholm has and I get it. Your lollipop stick is about as big as a pen. A little less than that. Maybe you're about to hear. Wear a toothpick. But my thing is that I'd be worried for his, not only his safety, but the safety of his other teammates. Because let's say he's going back for a pop-up. He can't say, I got it. Oh, it's mine. Because he has the damn lollipop. And nobody can hear him, and then they collide. Listen, I don't know. I mean, what do we have here? Let's go back. Yes, you're right about that, Bio. He's the first player drafted out of Mexico. Excellent point. I'm watching your game while I'm in the chat. Oh, are you? What's happening? Yeah, I don't have the remote here. Believe it or not, I actually had on prior to that because that was the first game. It's Marlins Rangers. I just had it on the background, but I figured out, let me get the remote. But when I got to set up and I left it over there, and so I'll pick it up where I left off. Mark. Okay, I'll give you a mulligan. You reach out to me with money. If you want stories, I got them. Kenyon Martinez met him too. Bobby Brandon spelt. Oh, Brandon spelt wrong. Jackson Julius. Welcome, people. Kenyon Martinez? You're talking about Kenyon Martin? Obviously, Cincinnati. I reach out to you with money, okay? She admitted she was wrong, and I'm okay with that. And midday, you were wrong. Yeah, no, absolutely. What about Damon Flint? Want that one? You don't. Nah, Flint, yeah, we talked about him a few weeks ago. Flint was drafted, but I don't think he played in the NBA. Or if he did, it was very minimal. Yeah, Senga's been a disaster. This guy was second in the Rookie of the Year in 2023. Then in 24, he was out for the first 3.5 months. He came back on that Friday night against Atlanta in late July. I believe he went 5 1/3, but then he re-injured himself then. Came back in the postseason, got bombed by Kyle Schwarber, especially in that Philly series. And he only pitched an inning, now that I think about it. But yeah, he's been. And now he's in the bullpen. I wonder how Luka feels about it. You wonder how Luka feels about it? Yeah. Oh, what's this? Even Bob Huggins. Even got Bob Huggins stuff. Fairfax DUI. Patch and Mississippi. Okay. How are you wrong? You're not wrong about that. And a toothpick. Talking about UL Washington. I'm not worried about Jazz as long as he's producing free on the field. That's all I care about. Yeah, no, that's what you should definitely care about. There, Ray. Better hope I don't start a channel. Uh-oh. I'm afraid. No, and I mean that. Why? Why? I'm curious. Exactly. I agree with you, Bio, 1,000%. Yeah, Val, Giants won. Happy about it. All right. Let me see. Is there anything else? Yeah, that's what I got, people. Yeah, I know. I probably could have done more World Cup stuff, but I'll do it tomorrow on the podcast. Now, let me talk about that real quick. Podcast, 11 a.m. I got to confirm the time only because my wife will be here in the morning. So I'll post a video tomorrow morning to let you know exactly what time I'll be on. And for those who don't follow me on social media, I'll post it, of course, on the YouTube channel because I know she's leaving mid-morning or maybe even early afternoon. So I don't know. I may start it at 11:30 or 12. So you just have to stay tuned. Better yet, when you go to the link tomorrow, you'll get to see what time tomorrow morning. You'll get to see what time I'm going to have the podcast. But the good thing about that is that if it does get delayed, I'll be doing it right here at the Sports Desk, not in the other room where I did it on Monday. So just a note for those out there watching, listening, etc. Podcast tomorrow for sure. Time is to be determined, which I should know by tonight for sure. And not even by tomorrow morning, by tonight. So if you go check on the link for tomorrow, you'll see the time and away we go. But I'll still put up a post tomorrow just to remind everybody. Podcast will be, and no podcast pregame tomorrow. I know I haven't done the podcast pregame the last couple of times here, which I appreciate everybody who hops on board prior to. But yeah, just a little bit of a hiatus with that for now. But I may go back to it as we get deeper into the summer, maybe even with the football season. But for right now, I'm just putting it on ice, the podcast pregame. But just stay tuned. I got you. And as always, appreciate you guys for your support. Comments. Kyrie's, yep, you're all right about that. Yes, he is. Without question, Ray. McMorning. All right, Mark. Let's see what else we got. Sports. Let's see, Mets. Bottom second, no score. And this is game one of a double dip. And it's funny that I actually did this as a day-night, which is good. Because the Mets are always notorious for doing the 4:10 games. But they're like, we're getting two. And I'm sure it's probably empty as hell there. The night game, maybe not so bad. The weather's great here in New York today. Oh, look at this lineup. Well, unless we see him tonight. Carson Bench, AJ Ewing, Bichette, who's hit better. He's at 250 now. Jared Young, Francisco Alvarez, Brett Beatty, Marcus Semien, MJ Melendez, and Luis Torrens. That is a lineup from hunger, my good people. Oh, man, that's bad. And then, let's see. Nolan McLean. All right, so they're at the bottom of the second. No Alvin on first. Anything else, people? Let me see. No, I think that's pretty much it. I covered everything. NFL. I know the kid, Brendan Sorsby, no supplemental draft for him. What are you going to do? Yeah, Kyle Pitts signed a 3-year, $54 million deal. Although Pitts hasn't been as advertised, but you see why the Falcons are going to keep him. Yeah. Brandon Ayuk with the Go Commanders chance. Yeah, that's it. What is this? Taylor Swift? Nobody cares. All right, guys. I think that may do it. So you know what's up for tomorrow. Alvarez is on first. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Val. Hey, Glenn. Yes. Glenn, have you been on or you just jumped on board? I remember from a couple weeks ago. The Yankee Met fan. Yeah, I know you didn't agree with me in my assessment of the De'Aaron Fox play. But welcome. Definitely eating McDonald's. Who's eating McDonald's? Oh. You're talking about. Yep, UL Washington. I think he passed away a few years ago. Mets are sunk. Yeah, he'll be 28 October. Who are you giving up, Glenn? Who do you think? And reasonably, because you can't. I mean, who's taking Brett Beatty? Who's taking Mark Vientos? Who's taking Freddie Peralta? At this point, I would just trade him. And how about Brandon Sproat yesterday, who hasn't pitched well this year, but against the Reds, what do you go? 6 innings, 1 hit. I think he had 10 strikeouts. Yeah, I mean, nobody's taking Marcus Semien off your hands. Nobody's taking Dave Peterson or Sean Manaea. I mean, I don't know. I got news to you. Would anybody take Devin Williams? I trade him. Wait, hold on. Just now, yes. Oh, but Fox was the GOAT, no doubt. Had a terrible series. Not that one play. Oh, no, definitely not the one play. But no, I understand. If not, okay, promise. Yeah, I don't know what you're referring to, Mark. Oh, yeah, Peralta was the first one. Oh, man, I've been so down on him. Yeah, if there is a stretch run, I don't know if you heard my rant about 45 minutes ago or so. Well, when you say use for the stretch run, not the Met stretch run. Oh, Peralta, what a... And he's scheduled to pitch tomorrow. I know. I'm just sitting here. I'm reading these comments, and I've seen enough of Peralta. Yeah, here's the thing with Bichette, though. He has an opt-out after this year. Now, if he has a killer second half, he's not going anywhere. No, that's a lie. If he has a killer second half, he probably will opt out. Who else is paying him $42 million? Nobody. That contract is ridiculous. Not ridiculous. It's beyond absurd. How Bo Bichette is making $42 million is mind-boggling. And he's a very good hitter. But on average, what is his average in his career, if I had to take a guess? Last year, he had like 19. And all right, I want to take a guess on Bo Bichette's career. He's got to be what? Anywhere between 18 to 22 home runs. All right, I'm going to say 22, 90, 285. Remember those numbers. 22, 90, 285. Last year, I know he hit 311. So All right, here we go. Baseball reference. Here you go. Here, and these are his career averages, people. I said 22 is 24. RBIs, I said 90, 94. And I said 285 is 290. So I'm off 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, and 5 percentage points. That's 43. That's worth $42 million. Oh, 42 million. And we understand a lot of these guys they're way overpaid. Even someone like Soto, I get it. I understand completely. But that one, that doesn't even make any sense. Yeah, 311 last year. I mean, look at these numbers. Yeah, 29, 102, 24, 93. I mean, 1 year was hurt. This year is at 944. He leads the league in plate appearances this year. Okay, fantastic. But, just awful. I got no words. Glenn. Oh, Peralta goes to Contender. Listen. What are they going to get for him? Now he's making $8 million a year. If the Mets eat the rest of that money this year, maybe they could get a better prospect back. But because he's a rental, they're not going to get a top flight prospect, even if they eat the money. Let me think. How about this? Send him back to Milwaukee. Why not? And pluck a couple. Now they're not going to do that. Milwaukee's going to be like, oh, no, we're good. Thanks. If they paid the rest of the money, who knows? I'd send him back to the Brewers. Oh, that's not going to happen. But yeah. How about the Rays? Rays depend on their bullpen all the time. Peralta can give you 5 innings. That he'll give you for sure. Show was always subpar fielder. Yeah, he wasn't great. Which is probably good for these 5 more years. Now, remember, he does have an opt-out in 3 years. Where he'll be, 31? And if he's putting up monster numbers, despite the fact that the Mets will not, I repeat, let's say if they're not in contention, and he puts up MVP caliber numbers, he is gone. He ain't coming back. Which, who knows? At that point, we'll have to wait and see. But remember, he does have an opt-out after year 5. Keep attacking the Bussies? What are we talking about here, Mark? Barney Bussy? Remember Barney Bussy? There's the name for you. And you should know that name. You should know that name. Mark Sammons, Barney Bussy. I want to look at this guy's numbers. Hold on a second. No, that didn't come up. Wait. I want to get the average per start. Jeez, look at these numbers. Yeah, does it give you the innings? Hold on. I could just do the math. 16 games, 85 innings. He's a 5-inning pitcher, this guy. It's 85 and 2/3 innings, 85 hits, 34 walks. His whip. Think about this. All right. And I'll go from 2021. I'll go after the pandemic. You ready for this? Freddie Peralta's numbers. ERA 2.81, 10-5. His whip was 0.97. And look at this. In 144 and a third inning pitched, 84 hits. That's 60 hitless innings. I mean, that's what. Can I expand this? Come on, give me the widescreen. I hate to pick on this guy, but I have to. Then the following year, 3.58 was hurt, only had 18 starts. All right, 2023, 30 starts, 165 innings pitched, 2/3, 131 hits. His whip was 117. The whip in that 1 year, like I said, was 0.97. A good whip is 1.1. An excellent whip is 1. And anything under that is terrific. And then 2 years ago, 3.68 ERA, a 1.21 whip. Last year was a 1.07 whip, and he was third. He's fifth in the Cy Young. I thought he was third last year. And this year he's 5-6 with a 4.83 ERA. Oh yeah. I mean, anyway, you don't want anybody on my team? Why not? I'm kidding, Ray. Glenn Sharp, the Asian pitcher, I forgot his name. He's gone also terrible. Kodai Senga, Lone Werewolf in Arizona. I can't read anymore. The Salary Cats definitely need an MLB. I agree with you. 1,000%. I'm with you. At least half of 5-inning pitchers, no more Spawns, Gibson. No, that I understand that. You're right about that. But if you're going to pay, and I understand they traded for him, but let's say if he was having a good year, Peralta, and you're going to pay him God knows how much money he wants, you're going to pay for literally a 5-inning pitcher? Remember, Ron Darling, maybe a decade ago, said 7 innings is the new 9 innings. What, is there going to be 5 now is going to be the new 9 innings? I mean, come on. And that's not a knock on you or whatever when I say come on. I'm just saying that generally speaking. But that's brutal. At this point, he wouldn't bring up Hal Morris in the World Series. Yeah, who played first base, by the way, in games 1 and 2. That's a fact. Senga's the guy. Yep, that's him. The whole pitchers would have had. Oh, please. Can I just bring up one pitcher's name? I'm going to bring up Tom Seaver. And I understand this was, it might as well have been 400 years ago, let alone 60 years ago. I mean, let's look at these numbers. These numbers are just they're going to fly off the page. And here's the thing. These pitchers back then, fastball, curveball, slider, and a lot of it, Seaver is just like Roger Clemens. Seaver was all the lower trunk. He got his push through his legs. Yes, obviously he had the golden arm, but that delivery and follow-through was all based on his lower trunk. Where pitchers, with their mechanics, it's all about the arm. And I get it. To throw a pitch, you're going to need your arm. But why all these Tommy John surgeries and even before that, the rotator cuffs, is because their mechanics, they're not using to generate their pitching delivery through their lower extremities. I mean, look at this. Seaver. First of all, they're pitching. I mean, just think of these numbers. 36 game starts, 36, 36, 37, 36, 35, 36. You're looking to get a pitcher that pitched 32, 33 starts. That's number one. Number two, here are the complete games. Seaver. By the way, Rookie of the Year, 1967. Let's start there. Oh, can we expand this? And 16 and 13, 276. In his rookie year, 35 starts. 34 game starts, 35. I guess he had one game in relief. In half of those games, he had 18 complete games. I mean, 2 of them shutouts. 14. These are just the complete games. 18, 14, 18, 19, 21, 13, 18, 12. I mean, and the black type is all over the place. His whip. He led him whip 3 times. Led strikeouts 5 times, 3 times Cy Young. I mean, come on. I mean, who are we kidding? And I'll even go just the 1985 year, Dwight Gooden. I understand you can only do this for the 1 year. Who won the Triple Crown in pitching, by the way. Oh, I got to switch this to widescreen. But Gooden. 276 innings pitched. He had 16 complete games. And in half of those 16 complete games, 8 shutouts. I mean, the only guy who goes the distance in games in this day and age is Sandy Alcantara. And didn't he pitch yesterday and won? How many complete games he has this year? He's thrown 13 complete games since 2019. That's probably more than all of Major League Baseball combined. It's embarrassing. Yeah, he has the 1 complete game this year. Put it this way. You ready for this? Somebody else do a complete game this year, though. Not a shutout. Based on what I see here, he has the most starts. He's what, 8-4 with a 4.01 ERA. He's had 17 game starts already, 1 complete game and 1 shutout, which leads baseball. 110 innings pitched. Oh, I mean, it's a joke. I start going through these numbers. I'll just, Gaylord Perry, 300. Yeah, no. Absolutely. 25 games, Glenn Sharp. And thanks for hopping on board today. I appreciate you stopping by. What's 765 wasted around him? Oh, a million? Ray? For Soto? It's not wasted. I mean, listen, is it way too much money? It is, but I won't go as far as saying that. Warren Spahn, lefty. Pitched for the 62 Mets, by the way. I'm sure you know that, Glenn, because I know you go that far back. Obviously, I don't go that far back, but I know Warren Spahn, 62 Mets. Roger Craig, 62 Mets. Casey Stengel, of course. Polo Grounds those first 2 years before moving to Shea Stadium. We already know. Tom was great. Yes, definitely, Mark. Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead, Ray. John Smoltz. No, Smoltz was, listen, let's look at his numbers real quick. Smoltz was 14-4 in the postseason lifetime. I mean, that guy was a big game pitcher. 1 year saved 53 games. Uh, 96 was 24-8, 2.94 ERA. Led the league in innings pitched, 253. Struck out 276. No, Smoltz was big time. Yeah, it was that 1 year where he had all those saves, 53. That was an 02. Here it is right here. Yeah, and I remember in 02, I think it was that year. Did he not? Oh, it was 2000 where he blew out his elbow. But I remember 1 year, I think it was against the Cubs. In 02, did the Cubs play in the postseason that year? I know 03 they did. Of course, that was the Bartman year. 02. Postseason 02, I got to think. That was Giants. And oh, no, he did pitch 02 because Bonds beat him in the first round. It wasn't the Cubs. I think it was against the Giants when he came off the field. He couldn't even shake hands with his right hand. He had to use his left hand. Maybe that was Chicago. I think that was later on, though. Anyway. No, Smoltz was great. Because I don't? Oh, all right. I got you, Ray. No, I can't dispute, especially on what you call it. That I got to give it to you. Do you really want me to get into that? Because we'll be here all day. Get into what? The Soto? Well, listen, The Yankees were ready to pay him 16 years, $760 million. Would that have been a waste? Because once he gets to his mid-30s, he's a DH. He's not playing the outfield anymore. So you're paying, in essence, $765 for a guy that is in his mid to late 30s as a DH. But all these guys those high 90s today, it's ridiculous. And that sweeper breaks like a wiffle ball. It does. I know it was never called a sweeper until the last few years, which is crazy. And it's funny because you're right. The guys back then who threw in the 90s, Seaver, Gibson, et cetera, they didn't throw high 90s. But that's the thing. Maybe not in Little League, but as they get to high school, obviously college, it's like they want these. They don't teach these pitchers to pitch. They teach them to throw through a brick wall. Where if you had a guy that's throwing 95 but hits his spots and mixes his pitches the right way, forget it. I'd rather have that guy than a guy that is a flash in the pan or a guy. Listen, here's a great example. And for a couple of years with the Mets, he was fantastic and loved him, was imposing. And no, I'm not even talking about Matt Harvey, but you could throw him in the mix too. There's Noah Syndergaard. Syndergaard was that guy, tall, Thor, the hair, threw 100. And look at this kid, Jacob Mizorowski, who threw a pitch the other day, 104 miles an hour. How quick before his elbow blows up? I mean, come on. Smoltz, yes, he was, or is. Yep, starter, closer, back to starter. You're right about that, Mark. I saw the Mets playing a Polo Ground spawn. Ron Hunt, Jim Hickman, Choo-Choo Coleman. Yeah, Choo-Choo Coleman at third, Hickman at second. No, Ron Hunt played second. Hickman. I guess then Hickman played short. And then Roger Craig. Roger Craig was 10-24 that year. Best DH ever, Lenny Harris. Oh. Thank you, Val. Yeah, no, he is insane. Oh, he was in the outfield? I thought Hickman played short. I definitely take your word there, Glenn. Wait, who played short in that Met team? Yeah, first base. No, it's Crane Poole because he was an original Met, but Marv Throneberry as well. Ron Hunt. Hickman was the outfield. That's right. Why did I think he played shortstop? Choo-Choo Coleman. Yeah, Ron Hunt, second base. You're right. Coleman was. I getting a mix with Ed Charles? No, I think I'm getting more of my guys mixed up here. Throneberry at first, yes. And Crane Poole was 17 years old when he got drafted. Yeah, Mizorowski is insane, but man, I'd be nervous every time he throws a pitch. Look it up on Lenny Harris. Lenny Harris was a Dodger, a Red, was on the 2000 Mets too. He was a bench player. Yeah, decent. I got it mixed up with Choo-Choo Coleman. That's what I was thinking of. When you say greatest DHs, Lenny Harris. All right, let me ask you this, Mark. If you needed one at bat to save your life, if you're saying that Lenny Harris was a great DH, you want. Now, this is where you're wrong. Come on, Mark. Now you're going down the Hal Morris rabbit hole. I'm going to throw one name at you that's going to just, as a DH, and no, not Harold Baines either. And at bat to save your life. Lenny Harris or Edgar Martinez? And that, right there, you know that I'm right about that. So, let's not even go there. Yes, you're right. James Monroe High School. Now, Glenn, you don't live in New York anymore, right? You said that, didn't you move out of New York? He says Harris. Well, listen, you could say that, but I'm sorry. I could put 100 baseball fans If I had 100 baseball fans behind me and asked them, who do you want up at bat for one at bat to save your life, Edgar Martinez or Lenny Harris, all 100 are going to say Edgar Martinez. Let's see. All 100 would say Edgar Martinez. Let me see. Yes. Thank you, Bio. Excellent. Oh, okay. New York, upstate Florida soon. Oh, you're moving to Florida? What part, may I ask? You knew I was going to say Edgar Martinez? There you go. Great baseball minds think alike. Nope. Oh, well. Look it up. What do you want me to look up, Mark? How great of a DH? You're talking the same Lenny Harris? Again, Dodgers, Reds, Mets, and a million other teams. He was a light-hitting infielder. Yeah, he was a great pitch hitter. That I get it. Seen it. All right, here we go. Put the chart up. All right. Mark, you're not going to look good. Let me type in Lenny Harris. Please, Lenny Harris, if he had 40 career home runs, if he had 40, let me see if I can plug this in real quick. And then I will, sign off after that. Uh-oh, I'm ready to knock everything over. I should have this plugged in prior to, but of course I never do, so my fault. It's going to pop up. There we go. Lenny Harris. I said what? 40 career home runs? If he had 40? Lenny Harris, 1988 to 2005. 37 home runs. I mean, come on. 269 lifetime. Yeah, started with the Reds. Yeah, then went to the Dodgers. Then went back to the Reds. That I remember. And then was on the Mets. Yep, 98. Then he was on 2000 as well. Yeah, he went to Colorado. He bounced around. I remember he was on the 2000 team. 98 as well. I mean, come on, Mark. Seriously? All right, let's pull this up. You want me to pull this up? Now you're going to say, oh, I can't see it. It's the fine print or it's too small or whatever. Glenn Sharp, yeah, Lenny Randall. He did that when he was with Seattle. I remember. All right, share screen. Ready for this? Lenny Harris. You're not going to be able to see this, people, but hold on. Let me get myself. I mean, look at these numbers. Can I even zoom in on this? Is that fidelity thing? Can I get that out of there? Hold on. Get this out of here. These numbers right here. And think about this too. Oh, you know what? You're even big time wrong. Oh my goodness, Lenny Harris. I should have gotten this beforehand, and this was Mark. Now you really look foolish. I hate to call you out like that, but it's true. This man played in the National League his whole career. He did not play in the American League, so he did not DH. So you could go on with the DH. You want to say pinch hitter, like Bio said, and thank you, Bio, for that. He was never, if he was a DH in interleague games, all right, fine. But what? He had 10 at-bats and he batted 500? That doesn't count if you're going to say that. So, yeah, I'm not buying. Yes, thank you. Bio is, forget about it. It's beyond Sharper's attack. And I should have picked that up. Let me see. Central Florida down there. Parts. All right, cool. Nice, Glenn. Good for you. Holds a record. Who are you calling a dumbass? I know you're not calling me that, considering you picked a guy that played his whole career in the National League And what? Had 3 at-bats at DH in his career and was 3 for 3, so he's 1,000? Come on. Mark, you look, wins again. Read this, Mark. As a matter of fact, I'll even say it. Lenny Harris did not play DH. National League did not have a DH back then. And yes, that was Lenny Randall. Yep, Seattle. Yes. Lenny Harris was like a 23, 24, 25. Yeah, he was that. Yeah. What record does Lenny Harris hold? Who holds the record? Boy, I'm right. Am I on drugs? No, I just pulled up the stats and I got people in the room backing me up. So no, I don't know. What stat does he hold? It's got to be something with pinch hitting. It has nothing to do with DH. Nothing to do with that. And no, and you put, are you drugs? Obviously, your grammar's off, so I don't know. Mark, come on. Can we make a little sense here? Just a little. He probably, what, the most consecutive pinch hits? That's probably, it's going to be my guess. Lenny Harris, consecutive pinch hits. I'm not even typing what record does he hold. I'm literally typing consecutive pinch hits. Oh, I was going to say he tied it. Yeah, because Rusty Staub had that. Absolutely. 8 consecutive pinch hits. In fact, I was at the game. It was in June of 1983 in a doubleheader against the Phillies. First game where Rusty Staub tied that. Oh, career pinch hits and career pinch hits at bat. It had something to do with pinch hitting. Again, thanks to Bio. For whatever reason, I was on a DH kick. All right, so he holds those records, but you said DH. If you would have said pinch hitter, then that would have made more sense. So you look like the fool. Yeah, pitch hit king. You said DH. And I'm going to scroll up to post that. And I guess I could sign off on that note. Here it is. Best DH, not PH, DH. Lenny Harris. He was not a DH. Pinch hitter. Okay. All right. You said what? Yeah, you said, yeah, exactly. Ilya Tkachuk. I know the name. Obviously, he punched him out of body slam in a brawl between Mets and Giants. Yeah, that I didn't see. Obviously. But that's a good one, Glenn. I like that. And all right, Mark beat you again. All right, you can say that. Say that how you want. Michael Jordan and Jalen Brunson. Yeah, Mike Sharperson, yes. I remember Sharperson, Dodgers 88. Rest in peace. What's Michael Jordan and Jalen Brunson? Ray, I'm curious. I love this. Stop putting words in my mouth. No, I'm reading back what you just typed earlier. I mean, how am I putting words in your mouth? Here, Mark, right here. That's putting words in your mouth. Best DH ever. DH, DH, DH. I don't have my glasses, but that I could read. All right. Unless you put the D upside down and make it a P, then maybe. But I would never put words in anybody's mouth. Mays got the festival's bare hands. Unbelievable. Yeah, no, Willie Mays. Listen. Say hey, kid. All right, guys. Yeah, Ray, get back to me on that last thing, and then I'll sign off. I can't end it on that note. Hey, look who's there. Off of Iron Whale. I love that name. Oh, wait, you didn't ask Mark Sammons, Barney Bussey. Do you know who Barney Bussey is? And don't look it up now. Here's a hint. He didn't play baseball. Have no problems with him for several years. Oh, if you're a Knicks fan, obviously you're not. Absolutely. As Mark is typing up who Barney Bussey is. Wait, let me check one other thing. Hold on. Where are we at? Oh, 2:15. All right. Let's see. Wait, hold on a second. Why isn't that score? Why they show me? Don't you hate that? You go to certain sites, you want to see baseball scores, and it's showing something else. Let's go. Did this refresh? No. All right, so it's not going to do that. Let's go here. Oh, so now it's 3-0 Mets. So Alvarez homered. All right. Yeah, can Nolan McClain go out there and give like 7 innings? Marlins 2-1. Oh, look at that. They're beating DeGrom. Yeah, I know DeGrom pitched. Yeah, I know. I still have it on there, right? Yeah. DeGrom. 2 runs, 4 hits, 2 walks, 6 innings. Yeah. I know. They're in the Marlins, 41-39. Meanwhile, they have almost 1/5 of the Met payroll. And they're 2 games. They're about to be 3 games over 500. And the Mets can't find their way at all. I don't know what to tell you. All right, let's see what we got. Yes. Oh, so that was back-to-back. Yes. Never heard of Bussy Boy? Yeah, I can't say I do. They would put Wemby on Brunson in the 4th quarter, and Brunson would just slide up. Yeah. Yeah, I know Wemby was on him on that OG Anunoby tip-in. I know Rumble Guy. I know you were saying about that. All right, hit YouTube good. All right, guys. That'll do it. Another live stream just about in the books. As always, people, I appreciate you stopping by, taking out precious time out of your day to listen to what it is I have to say about what's happening in the toy department of life called sports. And remember, tomorrow, just be on the lookout for start time. I'm hoping 11 a.m., the normal time. It may be pushed up an hour. It could be somewhere around there, but I'll make a post tonight, and I'll even post a video tomorrow just to keep you abreast of what's happening there. As we catch up, we'll do second round and of the NBA draft. We'll talk about baseball, World Cup, NHL. We'll get you all brought up to speed of what's happening there in the world of sports. Obviously, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Please hit that subscribe button to increase the visibility of this channel with so many others that are out there. But this is true passionate sports talk, people. This isn't any fluff. This isn't anything about prisoners in the moment or recency bias or anything like that. No. You want to go back in the history books as Glenn? Thank you. I appreciate you for saying that. We start talking about the 62 Mets. And I've been watching all the Fever games lately. Oh, Indiana Fever. Talking about Indiana Fever? WNBA? And if you have, good for you. That's awesome. So, please, people, I implore you to do so as I continue. The little engine that could tries to make a name, independent sports talk, no fluff, straight with no chaser. Oh, who would I trust in the 4th quarter? Oh, Jordan or Brunson? And Indiana Fever, right? Well, listen, we know that Brunson is not afraid of taking a big shot, whatever. But Ray, I know where your bread is buttered and where you're going to lie. I mean, if you're going to ask me, who do I want taking that shot in the fourth quarter? It's Mr. Jordan. Lots of drama with Clark. Yeah, I know. I don't know what's going on with her. I don't know what's happening with Caitlin Clark. It's like she came in like a lion, and now she's, I don't know. She's like, I almost get like this pro wrestling feel with her. Like she came in, the good guy or the good girl, and now she has like this chip on her shoulder. She's become a little belligerent, and I don't know what's going on with her, but so that's what I got there. But no, it's good that you're following that. Oh, absolutely. Ray's a huge Knick fan, and listen, I can understand why Brunson, but we've seen the track record of Jordan and how many game-winning shots and big-time shots he's taken. So, I mean, you have to take Jordan. That's all there is to it. Unless you're a Knick fan. Knicks fan and want to pick Brunson, fine. Without question. But, yes, everybody. So, as you know, or whether you do or do not know, this is what I love to do. Full-time doing this. Again, trying to carve a path, blaze a trail in this space to put myself out there as your source for all the source in the world of sports. And as long as I sit in front of this microphone and camera, you know I will not only promise but deliver nothing but passion, fire, energy, fury, my thoughts, opinions, critiques, praise, analysis, feelings on anything and everything that happens in the world of the diamond, ice, gridiron, hardwood, golf course, racetrack, tennis court, boxing ring, octagon, you name it. From my lips to your ears, from my heart to your soul, from where I am to wherever you are, the J Reels live stream always comes correct, directed, in full effect. From the South Bronx, the South Beach, the South Center, the South Pacific, and all points beyond. Peace, love, and God bless everybody. Enjoy the rest of your hump day. Hopefully, you see you back here tomorrow somewhere. We'll just say in the high noon, around this time today, 12 noon vicinity. But keep yourself locked in on the channel for the latest as to when I'll be on. And until next time, on the flip, baby. Now, let me see. Last comments here. And Kobe, yeah, you can put Kobe there. Put my last comment up. Your last comment. What, Ray a Kirk? What does that mean? What, I don't know what that means. Tell me what that means there, Mark. When Clark is on, she's the best player in the WNBA. Yeah, and I know she had the injury last year. Listen, I don't know what's happening with her, but boxing, geez. Oh, yeah. No, boxing, yeah. We can talk boxing, too. Yeah, boxing today, I mean, please. When Jake Paul is your headliner for a lot of these matches, I mean, you know boxing's in trouble. I don't know what that means, Mark. So I don't know. Is that like slang for something? No. Been watching Bob Foster stuff lately. I don't even know who Bob Foster is. Game over. All right, Val. Bob Foster? Oh, bad Bob Foster. You said Bob Foster. I'm thinking somebody recent. I'm not thinking somebody way back. Even though you said we go way back, I'm thinking, wait, Bob Foster. Bob Foster? Is there a fighter out there, Bob Foster? No, absolutely. It was a heavyweight. Yeah, he died 11 years ago. Uh-oh, what is this? Is that stuff on YouTube? I guess it is, right? Yeah, here's one with Joe Frazier. Born April 27, 1942, died in 2015. No, that's a good one there. Glenn, I like that. All right. All right, guys. With that said, I will sign off. So I appreciate you all. Thank you, Glenn. Hopefully I'll see you soon. Mark, shout out to you. I know you say some crazy stuff, but, you know, it's all good. Sucked as a heavyweight. It was more light heavyweight. Kind of like Holyfield. Holyfield was better. Holyfield was more like a cruiserweight. Should have been a heavyweight, but yeah. Glenn, thank you. Be back on tomorrow. If you come back next Wednesday, that's fine. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks to everybody else. Bio, Val, J-Rod, Mark, IDK, Toppers. I know I have to go scroll through the whole list here. Waffle Iron. I got to call you Waffle Iron now. Or AKA. I get to go through the AKAs, of course. Ray, obviously. Can't forget Ray. Val, I mentioned. Yes. I know I'm missing a couple others here. If I did, I forgot. My apologies. I don't want to miss anybody. Oh, yeah, I got to scroll all the way up. Toppers, I mentioned. I know there's another one here. IDK, I mentioned. Oh, yeah, this new. I like dinos. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you much. Until tomorrow, on the flip, everybody.